Good morning, everyone, or good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you are, where you're tuning in from. And welcome to yet another Ascent Tournament stream. This time we are streaming the day 8 of the ticketed Ascent Tournament. Technically it's day 4 of the ticketed, but day 8 of the Ascent Tournaments for the Asia server. And I will be following E7 as they make their way through this tournament. But like with the EU, an uneven number, as in not a total of 8 has been registered. There's actually 9 teams that have been registered. So the games actually don't start for another like 40 minutes. So I will be entertaining you with some replays in the meantime. I'm going to take away the preview right now so that you can actually see what has happened here. We have these 9 teams that are registered. And that's basically what we're going to watch tonight. Like I said, I'm going to follow E7. They are up against HLV. And they're going to start on Faust and then maybe Black Goldville. Faust being one of my favorite maps. I like watching matches on Faust. And after that, we don't know. But yeah, and that is basically a big reason why I like following E7. Because they have a lot of Disney princesses in their team. And I like that people are not taking it too seriously and just having fun with the whole game scene, really. So with that in mind, these are the rest of the teams, like I said, that have registered. This is my other favorite team, but that is being followed by Rolling Swarm. So they're gonna be starting on Faust. I think it's the maps that get drawn randomly for the whole stage, maybe, I don't know. But they will be up against ND also in half an hour. Thereabouts. So for now we just have to be patient. I'm going to show you some replays soon, but first we are going to wait for YouTube to catch up with the fact that I am actually live streaming, because there is a 5-minute delay on the stream, and that is everything to do with the fact that we don't want people to see each other's lineups, because that would give them an unfair advantage. So there's a 5-minute delay, which because 5 minutes is the max amount of time that a team has to get ready, and basically no one ever has their team like completely ready at that 5 minutes time mark exactly. But to be fair, it is the most safe way to ensure that people are on stream sniping. So with this delay, basically by the time people see the lineup on the stream, the battle has generally already ended, and that just keeps it fair. So that is the reason for the delay. Mainly I'm just now waiting for YouTube to catch up, because I have to activate the stream manually on YouTube. And that's also why I always start a little bit extra early, because I don't want to have to think about it. I just want to have to focus on the games. And that means getting all of this done before the room invite would potentially be up. Even though we're not getting one now, because like I said, they start in half an hour. But yeah. In the meantime, look at my pretty garage with my 3 tier 1 tanks. The filter is off. This is literally all I have on the Asia server. And basically, I don't really play here because my ping is off the charts on the Asia server. And that is why I'm not that big a fan of playing on the Asia server. But I would love it if somehow they got more stable. Because I feel that it is a server issue more than anything else. Because I've actually heard so many people that like have very unsteady ping. Stable ping is no issue, but when it spikes, then the game becomes unplayable. So I have massive respect for the Asia players that have these ping spikes and still manage to play somehow. On the EU server I have a steady ping of between 20 and 40, and that is something that I'm very happy with, because it would make me very unhappy if my ping kept jumping and if I kept getting spikes and stuff. So yeah. For the NA actually, it's about 100, 110 in ping, so that's very playable as well. Again, that is stable, but I don't understand why it keeps spiking on Asia server. I should try to play on it more, get some other tanks or something, but that is something that I'm not gonna do on stream, because I can't play PC to save my life, and I wouldn't do that to you guys. So with that chatter out of the way, I'm going to show you some replays. I have 2 replays from Asia server, and I did show them last Thursday, but considering all the time zones, I'm just going to assume you haven't seen them. And that means that I'm going to show you them again. Because the tank that Maddox is playing here is so not OP. I felt that it deserves some extra showing off to see that it can actually like perform in battle and all of that. I do love this camo. It looks so good. I like the really bright ones that are like obviously very fake, but I also like the dark ones. It's mainly the light camos that don't really shoot me. I dislike the flag hanging on the side, but the badge at the front does look really good though. I pay a lot of attention to camos on tanks, and that's mainly to do with the fact that I like pretty things. And I play this game for fun, and that sounds so bad, I know, but I play this game for fun. And what I mean with that is that it doesn't have to be like super serious for me. I love the fantasy tanks because of it. I love just being able to play, and as long as I do good, I don't mind. If I start noobing out, then I get a little bit frustrated. But overall, as long as I do my best, it's not bad. The thing is that I can't expect the same thing from a 40% player as I would expect from myself. So it's useless to get angry at the team if something doesn't work. So with no one really there, even though we did see a tree fall, Maddox is repositioning himself, wanting to get some shots in. He can't yet, but then this guy just decides to go over the open road towards the grill and just stay there. I'm not sure how that shot panned, but it did. And Maddox is repositioning again. He can't really shoot that guy unless he would have stood still and aimed very carefully, but he wanted to hug a wall, and then he goes off to save his grill buddy. The thing is, the position that he's in now is really lovely, but he gives it up almost straight away, because the position that he was in meant that he was not primary target. But at the same time, if you look at these bounces, the ones that he's had and the ones that he's getting, it kind of shows that this tank is, I'm going to say this as sarcastically as possible, really in need of a buff, obviously. I mean, he's already on 2.3k damage. That shot did not bounce, so that's why he needs a buff. And then he's pulling back a little bit, even though he couldn't. He could have used the corpse of the chieftain better. And then we start bouncing shots, because why on earth would we let the enemy pen us, right? By now the enemy has 2 bases, and not all shots bounce because, well, that would have been quite impossible. So he has to be a little bit careful now. At the same time, he just needs to get one gun out of the way so that he can focus on bouncing shots on your flank and your bum, because that's like the normal thing to do. And that is the end of the 121B. So then we start focusing on the IS-8. And this is something, he's just like reverse side scraping in a way. And just bouncing shots on his flank. It's quite ridiculous. And he's not even penning all his shots. So it could have been much worse damage-wise. And now he's like, yeah, let's not be here. There's only 2 enemies left, so he's in no danger really. He could potentially go full YOLO, but surviving has its charms as well, I suppose. But he does turn around to shoot the IS-8 some more, who then shoots the sand instead, so that's generally a good thing. And that is the end of the IS-8. And now there's only one grill. Yes, I understand that, I concur. And he can finally fix his gun and tracks now. I think he's just taking a breather. There's the grill. And he bounces a shot on the bum, because why not? Lovely cheeky ace. Steel wall, no surprise there. 1501 basic speed, that's lovely. 5.4k damage. A few bounce shots. Quite a few bounce shots on him. Even the ones that panned actually more did module damage and not actually damage. So that is something that you're happy to see in a T22. But we have another one from another player. And it's also in the T22. And that's the weird thing, just this tank, in the right hands, it is so strong. But this tank does not have the camo, and you can see it just looks not half as good as with the legendary camo, in my opinion. I do like this map. I think this map is very suited for the T22. So let's see what it does. It is supremacy, but it's going to the caves instead. And he misses his first shot, he bounces the first shot. And he's in a bit of a tricky position, because this is not really a position you want to be with TDs and tanks on all sides, really. So he's angling carefully, but he might need some help. He bounces another shot. The other shot goes into the sand behind him. And he says, yeah, let's just go for the bad shot now. And this is so mean. Look at this. He's just perma-tracking the Batchet, and every time that he just fixes himself, he gets tracked again. And that is actually so mean. And the Batchet can't really do anything about it. And that is the end of the Batchet. So we have an E50M now peeking up. Fosh is almost dead, so he has to be a little bit careful. At this stage, I would definitely be shooting Pramo, and with someone being that difficult to hit, I wouldn't really bother. But now we have an E100 that is just pushing in, completely ignoring the T22, probably wanting a piece of the Fosh, who's still alive. The grill just died though, and there goes the Fosh. So our T22 is just steadily murdering the E100, and there he goes. And there's another E100. There's a Jaeger driving away, so that allows for a cheeky little shot in the bum. The E100 just bounced. That is definitely helpful. And now he just has to somehow circle him. It can be a bit tricky. So he's side-hugging him instead. But it also means that he's bouncing his own shots. And he's not aiming, because he's not using sniper mode. So he doesn't really know where he's gonna shoot him. And of course he bounces the E100 again. Tracks him again. And he's just... it's sort of like playing a cat and mouse game, it looks like. We are 4.6k damage in. So now we are just going to like perma-track the E100 instead. And every time he just fixes it, he gets shot again. And that is the end of the E100. So now there's 3 enemies left. The Jaeger is giving him the evil eye. You know that that was gonna bounce. I'm not sure why he shot that. But the grill just fired. And again, not aimed so that actually hits the gun rather than the grill. And that hits the tracks rather than the grill. So he has to be careful here. There you go. And now he's getting bum-hugged by the E50M. And he is taking damage now, so he has to be a little bit more careful, because the E50M has a lot more damage than he does. But so far so good. E50M is not pressing the fire button, not certain that he will pen. Now he does pen. And he's the last enemy alive, so I'm not really worried about the team winning. But with 7.2k damage, that is a lovely, lovely game. And it goes to show again how troll this tank is. And how well it can perform. Because over the last couple of weeks, I had multiple games like this. Not as big damage as in the Forge, because that is completely overpowered right now. But definite very big damage games. So it's quite awesome. 50 did quite well as well. So that basically is that game. And we still have about 20-ish minutes to go, 25 minutes to go, somewhere thereabouts, before we actually get a game. So I'm going to find you something else to play. I do have a few new ones, but I'm going to be, seriously, I have to start showing you replays you've already seen, because of the fact that there's just so much time. Ooh, I had two very lovely games yesterday. I can show you those. But I kind of need to find the replays first. So give me a little bit to just log into the EU game on my iPad and send the replays to Discord. Because they're quite funny games. They're not aces, but they're fun games. And I think that is important as well. So let me see. I just hope that I will have the right game. And it would help if Discord actually worked with me. There we go, posting the one, and I have another one somewhere. I just need to find it. Because I was playing a lovely game in the 30B yesterday as well. And in a way I did very badly, and in a way I did great. So I'm gonna show you that as well. Because in my opinion that was really funny. For the rest I did some seasonals and they were first classes, but not all that interesting. So yeah, I'm going to stick with that. In the meantime, I'm getting messages. I love it when someone sends me a message back, but because the chat log has been cleared, I have no idea what actually said and what they are actually replying to. Okay, so I've got that now. Like I said, I'm going to show you those little replays that I had. I'm going to start with some lovely teamwork in one of my favorite tanks. And after that, I'll get you the other one. So prepare for sniper mode, because these are my own replays. This game was actually yesterday. This tank, I love this tank. I used to love the E5, but I don't really love it anymore since they removed the cupola, because that makes it kind of boring to play, and the cupola used to be the most troll part of this tank's arm, of the E5's armor. This was the first game. He wasn't on voice with me, so hence the hi and this reaction. Nuno is seriously one of my favorite people to play with. He is pretty much my perfect teammate, because they're like, we sync up so well. This is also something. I think he wants to go camp, so then he just keeps driving and blocking me. And yeah, this tank, it just has all the features of the E5 that I used to love before they ruined it. And at this point, I'm kind of wondering if I should go to the case, but I'm like, yeah, no, Nuno is there, so we can potentially crossfire, so I'm going to go into a different position. This is also one of the reasons why the game didn't appear to be that great, because my first full shots go like this. And that is quite useless. No one else seems to be there, so I kind of just want to go for it. Grill's getting shot a little bit. And then the second shot that I take only hits the gun, so that is quite useless as well. But I promise you, it will get better. And then he goes away, and I shoot the ground, so that is like 3 completely wasted shots that are completely useless. And then we have a Foch. And meanwhile, keep in mind that we are not... Jaeger just falling off. We are not on voice, so we are not coordinating as we should. But with my being here, You see Nuno pushing in on the minimap. And you see us double tapping the force like that. And we're still both really perfectly safe. I bounced the second shot though, so that's not a nice little double tap. But now the team is coming in as well. The force has been hit again. And he shoots and he misses. And we double tap him and I get the kill. So now I kind of want to shoot the grill. Which I do, and I kill him off, so that is definitely helpful. But now I have to be careful of the AK, that is also there. And the E100 that is at the back. I bounced that shot because I barely aim and I'm not really paying attention. Driving backwards, not wanting to get hit. So let's see what's going on here. E100 coming. And I only do track damage. Get hit by the AK, which is not something you generally like happening. And I have to be careful because I can't push too far, because if I push too far, that E100 is just going to go straight on in. So I decided to just go for a different route. And see if I can shoot the E100 from there. But I can't because he's moving forwards too much. So I decided, with him not focusing on me, to just start shooting him like this instead. And using the ramp. And while he's focused on the other teammates I have, that's actually fine. He's shooting at Nuno. But we finish him off together. And then we have a Yege here. That I can easily get a shot in. Nuno from above. You have the IS-8 there. And even if he shoots me now, which he does, I can get the kill. And I don't mind. I have the HP. We are 5 versus 2. So then I don't mind taking a shot. And just look at this tank. I love this camo on it as well. It looks so good. So we have 2 tanks there. So now I have to be kind of careful because I'm relatively low on health. And one of them is a clipper. So I want to use the corpse, but they're behind the hill there. So I decide to be a bit more forwards because again, it's 4 versus 2. So we should have this. So I start shooting him from here instead. And I just pull back a little bit because as long as I get my first shot in first, I should be okay. I track him. I have no adrenaline, so I can't reload through that. And at this stage he can come because he will never reload a second time before I finish reloading and can kill him. So with 4 kills and 3.6k damage, this was a first class, but no ace. But it was just such a lovely team game because look at the team carry that me and Nuno basically had together. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of Nuno and my tunes because it's just, we work so well together. I think, look at that, we have exactly the same assisted damage. Never noticed that before. So yeah, that is basically what I like, what I look for in team games. Because if you have a tune that works so nicely together, and I'm not trying to make myself look better than I am, because I'm not. But it's just overall, I mean, if you have a tune mate that you sync up with properly, it can make so much difference. And basically, I wasn't even tuning for the other one that I'm going to show you. But this is one of the funniest games I've ever had. And you will understand why after you've seen it. So I'm just going to load that in that replay for you as well. Because like I said, in a way I perform very badly here. And in a way I perform very nicely here. And you will see. At this stage, I mainly only play ratings if I get a mission where I need to win like 3 rating battles. That's also how I calibrate, because I really don't care about ratings. I think it's more for the diehards. I like my game just to be fun and not as seriously as can be. So at this stage, I had a mission, need win 3 rating battles, so here I am. Nope. I generally don't reply to questions like that because I feel it takes away from the concentration of the battle, so to speak. But I do say affirmative to ship because I'm Dutch as well. So now I'm going backwards a little bit in the hopes that I can maybe spot someone in C, but I can't. So while my team is capping B and we have D and we've not seen anyone here, I decide to just be a little bit forwards and peek on over. So then I start spotting people. I can't really shoot him. I do try, but I can't. I get shot from the middle down there somewhere. And I'm very careful. And look at the HP of the E4 just very much having disappeared. Look at that. And then I get the kill for 34 HP. So like I said, in a way I'm having a very good game and in a way I'm having a very bad game. So that is the second shot of damage that I do. You have the E5 at the back there. I can't really shoot him. I have to be careful with shooting him. I don't even know where that shot went. And the T57 gets killed for 14 HP. But at least I shot him before, so that's less bad. Then we have the Jaeger that is waiting. We have the E5 that is here. And I don't do any damage to him. The 268 has been spotted now. And he is losing HP quite rapidly. And he bounces my shot, so that is quite useless as well. Meanwhile, I've barely any HP left. And I just need to wait. I decide to not really want to be here. Because my team is holding, but I can't really do anything here. Because any shot at this stage can and probably will kill me. So I decide that I kind of need to be elsewhere. We have the Jaeger that's pulling back there. I shoot the ground, which isn't very useful. And there goes my first teammate. And I kind of want to cross over, but at the same time I'm kind of scared to. So we have the T628 that has been spotted. The 268 that really wants me. And I decide to go here and see if I can escape the T628. Because you can see on the minimap that he is chasing me. So I have to be careful because I'm a one shot for anyone at this stage. And I want to like help. So I call for help. And he just gets absolutely obliterated. And I was just like, thank you. And then we have the IS-4 here. There's only 2 enemies left now, and we know where they are. So I shoot the ground, because that is what I do this match. And I already have a brilliant 796 damage. So I bounce him again, but I track him. And he kind of wants me, so the Jaeger just died. And I just pull back. I'm a little bit afraid and I want to... But I bounce him, so... And then he kills me and I feel so bad. But it was a really funny game. I had a really good team. It's 4 versus 1, so there's no way that they're just... Yeah, they're definitely gonna win. But this is why this match is so funny. Because you saw that I did a whopping 796 damage, but my rating went up 44. And I was like, huh? I thought I'd done better than that, because I don't see actually the ribbons in the battle itself. At least I don't pay attention to them. So with that in mind, I was like, what happened? Why did I get a second class for 2 kills and 793 damage? It was 96 in the battle, by the way. That is weird. So then I looked at this. And I saw that I got 4,684 spotting that assisted damage. And that's mainly tanks disappearing, like the T62A and the E4 and the T57 Heavy. And the object. And it's just, it's so funny. I actually haven't looked at which tanks this was mainly at. This is one, 1,766. I didn't get any assisted damage for him, did spot him. 1,910 for spotting the object 268. And 576 for the T62. And 432 for tracking the IS-4. So yeah, that was a really funny game in my opinion. And I kind of felt that that should be shown off as well. So yeah, that is mainly the replays that I wanted to show you. I can't really I'm basically filling the live stream with replays because I can't play for you, and that kind of sucks. I still need to look into how to make my Elgato connection less jumpy, because for some weird reason, if I hook up my Elgato, the game just kind of keeps skipping a little bit. Not on the game itself, but like the stream. And it's actually a connection between the iPad and the laptop that is not working right there. So I don't know why, and I mean, I don't know if that means that I need a new Elgato or something, I have no idea. So let's have a look, see how long do we have left. When do the matches actually start? At 32, so that's in 10 minutes, that means that I can't show you another replay. And in the meantime, let's have a look, see, because GG was having one of the first matches, and they lost to ICT. They also had a bare minimum of players, so that's kind of tricky. So that means that ICT is through to the next round. And let's have a look, see who they are up against. They are up against Low, and this is kind of fun. Well, a fun thing is not really the right word, probably. You have ICT and you have Low, and they're both Chinese clans, but the rules of the twist of the professionals tournaments state that people have to come from a country that is connected to the region that they're playing on. China has its own server, so technically they shouldn't be eligible to go to the offline for the Asia server. But I've actually asked Wargaming whether or not they're going to enforce that, and I've had no reply. The weird thing is that this also basically means that people that are based in North America can't go to the offline as part of an European team. And likewise for Russian players for EU, but also likewise for EU players that play on the NA server. It's kind of weird, but I don't know if they're going to enforce that. So I kind of hope that we will get some clarity about it. But we will see later. So yeah, that's ICT and Low versus each other. We know that we have E7 versus HLV. Then we have NUP. NUP is going up against King. ND versus Feast. And that is it. So now we just have to wait to get a room invite. This is also funny, by the way. For the Asia server, we are actually allowed to go into clans. And that's the fact that neither Brian nor I have a press account here. So we play on our regular accounts. And with those regular accounts, we are allowed to be in any clan that we want. So Brian joins CW. And I was told, like, you joined CW, so now you have to join us. So now I'm in clan E7 on the Asia server, and I love it. But it also states now, your clan enrolled in the top right corner of the screen. So that that's for me, I think that's funny. Even though I'm not playing at all, I'm just like commentating and all of that. Technically I am part of the clan, and so I get notifications like that. So that is basically it. We have a few minutes left to go before the room invite is up. And we just have to wait a little bit. So we have like... I have 3 tanks on this server, but I can actually talk to you while we wait on about the tanks that are in the story. Because right now you have the Defenders, and you have the Chrysler K, and the IS-2-ish. And you have the Object 252, and you have the Lorraine and the AMX. Actually, I don't know if I got the Lorraine or not, if I went for this or not. Because I do have the AMX, and the AMX is great fun. But I'll actually talk to you about that after the first matches that we get, because the room invite should be up in like 2 minutes. And that means that we can focus on the gameplay, and then I can start talking to you about the tanks that are in the game, waiting for you to buy them or not. And yeah, not really much to talk about at this stage, because I'm just waiting. And we can go over the map when we are in the room, because we have plenty of time. I do have a notification. I'm pretty sure that's clan chat, so I'm not going to look there, because that would be interesting. Let's put it that way. Come on, room invite. This is a stage where I'm always like, I'm not bored, but it kind of is boring. I would love it if tournament matches would start earlier, but I get that with the whole stage thing. You can't really do that because one stage had to be played for 2 tanks and for 2 clans. And normally for the professionals, that means that if that were to happen, it can't because then we have 8 teams, but we will be attached to a team. And the thing is that right now, if there's a room, if the team that we follow gets knocked out, and I'm following E7, not HLV, then we are basically knocked out as streamers as well. But if they, for the professionals and for the finals for the professionals, it doesn't matter, because then we are actually also attached to the stages. So it's only for this that we can basically be knocked out as streamers. So that kind of makes streaming a challenge here. But yeah, with 40 minutes to go, I'm going to show you Faust, which is one of my favorite maps ever. And it looks something like this. And Faust has 4 bases. It has the C and D closest to their respective spawns. Base A that is sort of in the medium corner, and base B that is in the middle and very hard to cap, but also hard to steal if you do manage to cap it. And the thing that I love about this map is because you have these bridges and you have these tunnels and all of that. It's just so much fun. So I'm a big fan of that. And it also makes the map very unpredictable. And that's why it's one of my favorite maps for streaming and for tournament matches. I also imagine that it's one of the most painful maps to play on for the tournament players because of that. Because it's so unpredictable. Because there's so many lines of fire from one side of the map to the other. So yeah. I'm always curious what people will do here, because I never expect them to do like a standard thing. I basically never see them do exactly the same thing twice, but that's also, of course, the whole tournament scene where you just don't give away your best tactic, but you also don't give away your whole lineup and everything. So right now, I don't think we are seeing all too serious lineups, because at this stage, E7 is pretty safe. Even if they were to lose this game, I don't think their position for the top 8 would be threatened. Unless very weird things happen, but I think it's quite impossible, because there's only 9 clans that are actually here, and they have one of the highest cup ratings. Feast is actually highest in cup ratings. So they are definitely safe. They just need to turn up, basically. So I'm going to take away the map with just over 2 minutes left to go, so that it won't be on your screen before while we are having actual tournament matches. And we've seen that both teams are completely here and are completely readied up and ready for Faust. And we see that E7 is driving 2 Foshes, 2 215Bs, 2 IS4s and an FV 4202. And they are up against an IS4, 2 Foshes, 3 215Bs and 2 Batchats. One Batchat. That's a bit too many Batchats. So that is a lot of new meta, basically. Because the 215B and the Fosh are pretty OP at this stage. And so is the G22 medium, but that is not being brought right now. And it's also one of the pay-to-win tanks, because it's only being crates so far. So people have had either a lot of luck or have had to spend a lot of money to get it. So we are just going to wait just over a minute more before we get our first tournament match. And I'm going to take a bit of drink in the meantime. I kind of want a Fosh. I kind of need to grind it. But I'm such a lazy grinder. And I don't enjoy grinding. It's a boring task. I have free XP for that kind of stuff. But I don't want to waste it. That being said, I am waiting for the update that is probably going to drop next week. We've not actually had a date, but I'm pretty sure that that will be the case. And I will be pretty much free XPing the whole spaghetti line. Because it's fun. I want that line. It looks so good, and it literally looks so good as well. Because if you see the camouflage that is in the pictures that have been shared, it just looks so good, and I really want it. So in 12 seconds, here we go. We have the actual countdown happening right now. And here we go. With my little Hago. Ha! Go! Oh my god. When I get tired, my inner smartass comes out, just so you know. So you get really dry little stupid jokes like this. I think there's something with the video that has been spammed, but I haven't actually watched it. So I'm not entirely certain what happened. We see some speed boost happening on the other side with the 2 and 5Bs that are going into base D. And we have a Batchat going into base C to cap. IS-4 is not actually... The IS-4 is capping the 2 and 5Bs moved further. And we have most of HLV at the back ready for base A. Where we have one lone Cinderella that is overlooking it. And now basically E7 is sort of holding in one spot. Cinderella is pulling back, expecting them to be there, not wanting to be murdered because he is there. Because unlike popular belief, all the princesses are actually males in this case. Base A is now being capped. And we see that E7 is just still holding. And they are giving away their advantage by letting HLV cap 2 bases. First shot fired, no damage being done. Cinderella having to be careful. You know that there's more people there. And he has been spotted now, so is one of the 2 and 5Bs. And ooh, that was a little nasty hit to the head. And E7 is pulling back together. But not really all that much is happening. The thing is that the E7 is being very defensive. With the team steadily appearing behind. But HLV has 2 bases. So their points are steadily going up twice as fast as that of E7. Shots being fired. Elsa taking a little bit of damage. And now E7 is making a move. They are pushing in. But still no damage has been done to HLV. And they kind of have to make certain that the shots do pen. There we go, that's the first hit. And we have the 2 and 5Bs heading over. Down below. Absolutely murdering Boa Sorte. And he's going to be gone soon. There he goes. And that is the first gun out of the way. And Mulan just took a nasty hit as well. But being in the Force... Ooh, you want those shots to pen though. The Force took a massive hit there. And there he goes. There goes Mulan. All rush, no rush. Is being focused as well. Cheesy bugger, sorry. Is actually losing a lot of HP. But so far both teams have lost 2 tanks. It's pretty evened out. But HLV still has 2 bases. And they need to play this more carefully than they are. Liberty losing a ton of HP right now. The Force appearing. And he is going to not take out the Force because he bounces. And now we have the Force in the 2 and 5B heading over. And for some reason Liberty is being ignored. There he goes finally. Screwball is next on the line. I can't really show you what's happening in there. Tanks are disappearing left and right. It is 2 versus 3. One very barely alive tank. And the 2 and 5B kind of has to get this. And Merida is now in trouble. But there he goes. And now it's just the Batchat that is left alive. With 1 shot he does take it. But he can run away. I think it would be good for Merida to just cap the base. And for Ariel to pursue him in his full HP. 2 and 5b. So the Batchat is running off. I think he's going to go. Ooh, that was a hit and miss that you don't want to have. And he's going to cap. But he can't really afford to. Let's see if I can get you there. To see what happens when Ariel arrives. And he actually manages to cap it. And it is a very, very close. Ariel is now capping. But it's not in time. They are 900. They need to get base C. Merida is now preparing to be rushed. He needs to pre-aim. Pre-aim, Merida. Ooh, that is not enough. And the game is for HLV. What a tight, close game. And I think it's because E7 lost way too much time, mainly, on that push. Waiting for them to actually do that push. So now the pressure is on, because now E7 has to win 2 games rather than just 1 more. And HLV just has to win 1 of those 2 games. So we see lineups changing. Cinderella leaving the FV behind for Leo. And we see that E7 is now completely completely readied up with an STB, 2 215Bs, an IS4, a Leo 1, an AMX 50B and a Foch. And they are up against 2 Foch, 3 215Bs, a Batchat and a T22 medium. So that is now complete new meta. You have basically 1 filler tank, which in this case is the Batchat, and the rest is new meta. So in 48 seconds we get to see what they do with this. Foch is unreadied up, maybe changing some ammo or a camo or a tank altogether, but that is unlikely because it's a Foch. And E7 will have to play it more aggressively because they were waiting too long and then pushing into the strength basically of HLV. So with 17 seconds, both teams are completely ready. And we are ready to go. Countdown has begun. Just making sure that there is no map on the screen to block anything. And here we go. Against the enemy lineup, I would not be very happy. Because there are very strong tanks. And here we go. Batchat going more towards the middle. Shots being fired for some reason. And the Batchat is going for a very aggressive move. And going straight into base B. Which I think is a good call. Because if you can get that cheeky cap of base B early. Ooh, Mulan already losing a bit of HP. And HLV is pushing aggressively. And that is a very good move. But now they really have to get out of the way. B has been capped. D has been capped. E7 is being chased away from their base. Ooh, that Batchat! Where did he go? There he is. Took massive damage. Base B being stolen. Base A being capped. Cinderella making a good cheeky move by grabbing and stealing base B. And HLV is pulling back in more safe places. Cinderella running off. Base C now being capped. That could potentially be risky because they would still have the point advantage then. And E7 is pretty spread out, heading towards the red spawn. Emerald has been spotted in the Foch. E7 will have to play this quite aggressively, I think. They will have to make a move soon. Shots being fired. Not that much damage being done. Cheesy bugger. Backing up the Foch. And the 215B shooting. Ariel now also having been spotted. Metadan not so much. Now he has though. And now both teams are pretty much hold down. They can't really do much. With the Leo and the STB at the back. 215Bs are moving in. Cheesy Bugger is moving in. Foch is moving in. And they are losing quite a bit of HP going here. They want to get that Foch out of the way. That was a good bounce though. That is something that you definitely need. And now HLV is caught in a crossfire. With the Leo and the STB moving in on the other side. Steadily eating away the HP of HLV. But I'm trying to get a good angle so that I can show you exactly what's going on. Cheesy Bugger taking damage. The 215B as well. It is a tricky thing. Because look at the HP disappearing on Cinderella. Cinderella is gone. And E7 will have to push aggressively in order to make this happen. HLV holding very well. Foch versus Foch. There goes the Foch. There goes Liberty. But HP wise, E7 is slightly disadvantaged. And now both teams have lost 2 guns. Ooh, Foch. Ooh, there goes Cheesy Bugger. But look at the HP. There are so many low HP targets. And it is 4 versus 4. But Mulan is in trouble. Facing off against the Foch. That is going to hurt. Especially when he's blocked. That is a very good move by Screwball there. Both teams lost another gun. And it is 2 versus 3. And the AMX, this is, what are you doing? The AMX is moving in, despite being on a clip reload. That is probably going to cost them the game. There goes the Foch. Batchat is still alive. And now it is 1 versus 2, and it's that last rush, I don't understand it. E7 basically got themselves knocked out here. And that is going to be the shortest tournament stream I've had, I think. Just about. It's mainly been replays and 1 session. HLV knocking out E7 this early in the game. Mainly because the last 2 did not play carefully at all. They needed to wait for the AMX to have their clip, but they just pushed in even though Elsa just fired his last shot. But great gameplay by HLV, very nicely done by them. And that was the end of the tournament for me on Asia server then. Let's see what else has happened. What has happened with Feast? Feast also getting knocked out by ND. That's also a very short stream for Brian then. This is like, what is happening? And there is no pressure here. ICT won, they're up against HLV next. What happened with Nup? Let's see. Nup and King are still playing. But overall, like I said, we are attached to teams here, so both Brian and I have basically been knocked out as well. So I can't really tell you to go watch someone else then. But yeah, that is a very... just the fact that they didn't wait for the AMX to reload. And yes, there was a time pressure, but they could have done that so much better. But they just went. I think it's because the commander maybe not have seen that Elsa was going into a clip reload there. Because they could have had this, but they... yeah. HLV definitely played really well here. So let's have a look, see, do we know what is happened. There we go. ICT, ND, and HLV are through. And we are still waiting for King and Nub. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer to make sure that I'm not invited to another room. But I'm fairly certain that I will. Actually, no, that's taken like 15 minutes. So this is like a very, 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 very short stream. But I can't really make anything else out of it. Because like I said, Wargaming has to attach us to teams rather than anything else here. Because the registration time closes so shortly before the actual tournament. And that happens after after office hours basically. So they can't really attach us anymore. So that is basically it then for now. I will be back in about 6 hours to stream the EU server tournament. I'm definitely hoping for a longer stream then. Thank you all for watching. Thank the teams for... no, actually no, I am going to wait. Because if there's a tiny, tiny chance, then I want to make sure that I actually am streaming it. Because I can't really restart the stream once I've ended it. That's the weird thing. Okay, so E7 is going to train. I can't really do that because this is a tournament stream, so I'm not going to do that. But that kind of shows that what E7 is doing now. So let's see if we know a result yet for King and Nub. Let's see. Yeah, King is through. So it's King, ICT, and D and HLV that are actually through to the next round. That is like not really what I was expecting. Because if you look at the leaderboard for the Asia server, you have Feast in first place, TNM in second, then you have ICT, then you have E7, Low, HLV, NUP, and the Combat Wombats. So it is strange to see this happen, but it kind of solidifies the position of some of the tournament players. And let's actually have a look, because what happens now, what can happen now is that ND and King could potentially push their way through to the top 8. They would definitely have to win, but there is a slight chance. Because top 8 now has 23-29 cups. CW is not registered for this tournament. And no, they would have to actually win today to make that happen. But it is possible. So that is basically what we have today. If King or... let me just check that again. Yeah, if King or ND wins today, they could potentially push through to the top 8. So that is definitely interesting to basically follow what's happening. But I won't be able to follow it in the games. So that is useless. So we have about 10 minutes left before the room invite should be up. No, I'm not going to join. I know what they want to do, but I'm not going to do that on a tournament stream. Honestly. But yeah, I will talk about you while we wait for a potential room invite. I will talk to you about these tanks. You have, let's start at the beginning. You have the, actually, what else is here? This is something you should never do. It's a lot easier to just grind a few battles. Then you have the avatar containers. I got one of those to get my spider avatar. Then you have these bundles. You have the Lorraine 40T and the AMX 1357. I'm not that big a fan of the Lorraine, but I do love the AMX 1357. It is a very cheeky little monster. It is not OP in any way, but it's just great fun to drive. So that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy that. So if you have the gold to spare, I can advise you to get that. It is quite pricey though for a tier 7, so that is something that you should think about as well. I mean, if you look at it in comparison, the IS-2 is only 5k. So this is like more than 1.5 times as expensive. And the Lorraine, yeah, I don't like it enough for 12.5k, so I'm probably not going to do that. The IS-2 is something, also a tank that if you like the IS, then you will like this as well. But if you don't, then it's really not the tank for you. For me, it's not the tank for me. I have it because it was in a, Black Friday bundle at some point. So I got that because the deal was really good. And that was when we still got really good deals for Black Friday. But I don't enjoy it much. Then you have the Object 252U. And that thing is great fun in my opinion. It is very troll. The armor of the tank is very troll. But unfortunately the gun is also very troll, so hitting your target is actually a challenge. But I do really love this tank, so I'm really glad that I have it. It is not OP, but it is, because it's so troll, it can border on it a little bit. Then we have, of course, the Chrysler K, which is in the bundle together with the IS-2-ish. I don't like the IS-2-ish, same with the IS-2 actually. If you like the IS, you will probably like this as well, but this is rear mounted. And that makes it a difficult tank because a lot of people are not used to rear mounted turreted tanks. And if you are a little bit used to it and you do really enjoy them, you will enjoy these tanks as well. For me, the Chrysler K is a lot more fun than the IS-2-ish. And that is mainly to do with it just looks so much better. And then, of course, you got the newest bundle, the T-28 Defender. And you have the IS-3 Defender. I wouldn't get either. That's very, like, bluntly said, but that's basically it. Thing is that the T-28 Defender, I don't think it adds anything. I personally like the normal one, the T-28 prototype. I think it performs better than the Defender does. And you have the IS-3 Defender, which used to be so incredibly strong. And it's really not anymore. It's kind of sad because with the gluttony of tanks that we have gotten in Tier 8 that are so much better, I don't feel it's competitive. And that's actually something that I wouldn't say I regret, because there's nothing really to regret. But it used to be a lot stronger, and yeah, for me, I have it because of the first event that it came and I got it for free. But it's not something that I can really advise you to get these days, not for that price especially. Because it does look cool and it does have some troll armor, but compared to the tanks that we have there, it's just not really, no. It does look cool, of course. I mean, if you look at it, of course I'll accept your friend request. I mean, look, if you look at this, with the Tomahawk, basically the camouflage and all of that, I really like this tank. It looks really good. I can't really show you any of the other ones because it doesn't really appear like this. But I really like this tank. It's funny. Thing is, I have no field, so I can't take you to another tier and see if we get another look at one of the different tanks there. But I really like the way that this tank looks, and it's quite fun to drive as well, as long as you hide the lower plate. So we are now waiting for a few more minutes before we know whether or not there's a room invite, even though I'm fairly certain that there won't be. Sort of like hoping against hope that you will actually get that room invite, that you will actually continue the tournament and all of that. But yeah, I don't really expect that to happen. So I'm just, look at that little grill there, that looks so weird though. All of these tanks, it's tier 1 is not what it used to be. I could potentially, I actually haven't really driven them. I think I've only driven this one actually. Let's have a look, see at my amazing... This is so funny though. I have 110 tournament battles in my tier 1 tanks according to my stats here. It actually counts all the battles that I've spectated in tournaments on this server. But yeah, I have 2 games in this. And I had to get 5 games in total. The weird thing is you only see 2 battles here. Because the rest were in the MS1. I miss this tank. This tank was so much fun. I miss the old tier 1s so much. But yeah, I've not really played on Asia because of the whole lag problem. And, well, the ping problem, I should say. So, let's just wait a little bit longer. The room should be up at... in 3 minutes, actually. Thereabout-ish. Let's see what else I have in here. I have a container. Let's open a container. Because this is free stuff. You can't really complain about free stuff. This is... Ooh, that is something I can teach you. When you get these containers, you get these things. They give you 200 free XP each. Now, if you combine this, you get 1 certificate for 2300. If you combine 10 of those, you get 1 certificate for 28,000. So that basically you gain 5,000 free XP. But if you combine 10 free XP certificates for 28k free XP, you get 1 certificate for 350,000 free XP. So you gain 70k free XP as long as you keep combining. So don't use them, combine them, and just have fun with it. Same thing, I can't combine this because I don't have enough. But because of the whole combining thing here, it's definitely worth it. I actually have one of those certificates on my main account on the EU server, mainly because I was just waiting for... I wanted to see how far it would go, and how high it would go, and if it was worth it. But combining the free XP certificates is definitely worth it. So even though you have to be very patient before you actually get to the 350,000 350,000 free XP, it is worth the wait. So it is 59. I know that if it hits 1400 exactly for EU time, that is, then I will know for sure that I do not get a room invite, and then I will end the stream. But I'm pretty sure that we will reach that. I regret that we had such a short stream, but it happens. And yeah, there it is, 1400 here. No room invite. That means that we are out of the tournament. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the gameplay. HLV, you're definitely impressed. And I'm very curious to see what will happen on the Asia servers. I'll definitely follow the development here. But for now, I wish you all a good afternoon, evening or night, depending on where you are. And I will see you hopefully in 6 hours for the EU stream. So have a good day or night or whatever, and I'll see you then. Goodbye!